It's Friday, December 31st, 2021. Woke up this morning with Nooch. We did our morning routine. We did something out of the ordinary. I helped him. He created this painting. We picked the colors together and we went step by step. It was just a really nice mom-son experience. I thanked him for allowing me to sit during his creative session and be witness to his first masterpiece. And then all of a sudden, he went off into the other room. I got an exorbitant amount of tiredness. I put my head down, and then next thing I know, it's dark outside the window. It's like 5:30 at night. The entire day just disappeared, and me with it. I'm still, like humans call it under the weather. But then I realized, I'm like, oh, right, December 31st, that means it's New Year's Eve. So, not that that means anything, but just a bizarre day. And as before I drifted off to sleep, I was brought back into a memory of when I went to Canada for the Exit franchise meeting. I had met a man and a woman. I believe, it's my memories don't stay with me. Like, they don't stay with me like a sense of assurity, like that I own them. They flutter in and out like a damaged piece of movie equipment. Like back in the 35 millimeter days, if the film got overexposed to something in a certain section, you'd lose the entire vivid image, and it doesn't come back, that I'm aware of anyway. That's almost how it feels. But it's the weirdest thing how time and space works, and time dysplasia with amnesia. Then it dawns on me that when I was there, I was given a whatever, and somebody that I had met had handwritten a piece of information that I might need. But when I was in the moment in Canada, I was wrapped in that moment, but like my body was present and I was moving. I was myself. I was friendly, gregarious, benevolent, but unsure of how to use or how to really connect with what I was working as part of or working through. So, and then when I got back to New York, it was put somewhere safe and almost forgotten about. I'm so embarrassed to even to say it this way, but I have to be honest because I need that person to know. It's not for. It's if what the memory I'm getting today as a recall in memory bank, because I'm in need of something, I don't have access to whatever was handwritten for me. It's almost like the most important piece of information for my future. One would think that if you knew that that was your most important piece of your future, that you would protect it with your life. But the way that amnesia works and time dysplasia is, I walk through weather patterns and I get completely disoriented. I like there were things that at one point I could have, before the house was ransacked and everything thrown out and me shoved here into Bayside, into the apartment. I don't have any of my manuals, my Bibles, and Bibles I don't mean like the Holy Bible. I'm talking about important things that I've gone through in my life, like a material, almost trophism that you can carry and say, no, I went through this. I know I went through it. I just know that in this space, even when I brought my medical Bible into this space, I go to reference it, and Linda's gone through some cleaning phase because this is her space, and she goes into my space, which is within her space, ransacks it, and then throws it out and then tells me that I didn't need it. And how dare I get mad at her? So in one of those moments, that's what happened to the most important phone number of the most important couple that I've ever met in my life, that I didn't know then. But if it's who I think it is now, I want them to know the sincerity I was then, I am still now. I just don't have a calm set of circumstances or life frame where I can build libraries and I can build safe places to store mementos and then go back into that treasure trove and look through them if I find myself in danger. I don't have that level of stability in America or North America. I never did, even though we met in Canada. So that is a really important feature to mention as well, because it's not a normal human experience. It has not been since I've been born and since I was delivered here. When they met me, I was in a professional setting. My hair was done. I had business attire on, and I was trying to do a grown-up thing and follow along, but I was out of my element. I didn't know the people. I didn't know where my place was. I was in almost a tide pool where I feel all of the creatures in the tide pool, they knew who they were. They knew where their place in the world was. They knew what they were striving for. And somehow I was added to that. And I was almost just like a little polyp on the wall, trying not to get in anyone's way, but also not clearly knowing how to recognize the differences with all of the beautiful creatures that arrived in the tide pool. So, and since then, it's almost like for me, you know, the the week of being introduced to this new real estate company. It was a new real estate company for me anyway. I'd never been to Canada. And we had bought a franchise in New York that was just about to open, or we were about to open a franchise. We were thinking of buying a franchise in New York. So I wanted to find what the company was about. And but I had never been at a franchise meeting. I'd never been with such important business people. I definitely didn't have the education behind me, but I was trying to keep up with the paces of being in and surrounded by those that it was second nature for them. But again, while they know the circle and names, faces, and things, and how that all works, I still do not. I'm still a small potato inside of a small village that never got anywhere, and is having trouble finding my way still. But now I'm having weird health issues on top of, more so even than when I was there. There I looked more put together, but I would have sudden onset of tiredness and loss of time and space out of nowhere. That's been an ongoing concern. But it is New Year's Eve 2021 going into 2022. I just would like to know the really kind gentleman and lady that were incredibly amazing, as was everybody that I had an opportunity to speak with, or they just were, they were just a different echelon, I would say. So thank you for being there in that moment for me, even though I know you were probably there for another reason. But this is for me now, like, just a follow up. I don't know how to explain like a weather pattern and astrophysics. When Nucci showed me last night, there's a gentleman, or actually it was just, it was on a video, it was just a pair of hands and a voice over. A gentleman took a bar of chocolate, which had a grid pattern on it. He scored it one way, then he scored it another way. He took it apart and he counted the blocks, and the blocks had a certain count to them. And then all of a sudden he rearranged them ever so slightly, and there was a crack, a larger gap in a portion of it, but there was one whole piece missing, but it still had the same count. And it was just one of those like mind tricks, the visualization tricks, but again, that goes back to like when I say irrational, rational set of numbers, or imaginary set of numbers versus a number or number set that one can grasp. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. When I was in Canada, I used the alias Nicole Romer, Roemer. That's just the name that I was going by for my real estate career, when I was doing things with my real estate license was held under that name, because I had 3 small children who also were using that alias, and so I kept it consistent that we were the same in my little brood that I was raising at home. I'm in Bayside Station now, Bayside, New York, 11361, and it is December 31st, 2021.